MANCODE 100.
What up, y'all? We are live once again. This is MANCODE 100. Listen, if you've never been in the room on one of our calls, this is what up, Natalie? What up, girl? That's what's up, man. MANCODE 100 is an idea where I'm excited about it. I get to converse with men that are doing some amazing things. We talk about a lot of things, from our interests to pushing the envelope to really coming up with a new definition of what is the man code, what is upholding the man code, what does that even look like? What up, DeRamus? Talking about, understanding what does it mean to be my brother's keeper. All of these things are what we are talking about. Man, I've been trying to figure out this pinning thing for the longest. I can't get it, but anyway. And so, y'all, today I'm really, really excited because I am I'm talking to somebody that is really, 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 really close and dear to me. I speak about brotherhood all the time. I speak about upholding the man code. And so often, I remember when I was talking to Shabazz, the OG, we spoke about how people use the word bro so lightly, to where as bro has become just a part of our daily dialogue. It's just like saying, what's up? Where we normally be like, what's up, man? Or whatever term that we use to identify we were talking to somebody that was a friend of ours, we put that in the space. Well, now the word bro has become so commonplace. What up? What up, Lily? Yeah, women are invited too. We just talk about a lot of things dealing with the man, but obviously a lot of women are in the room because the objective is to be able to unveil a lot of the things that are going on in the mindset of men, which will in turn help women understand men clearly, understand what we are needing from women, understanding how to basically deal with us, because you will understand us better, but also just to see men vulnerable, men willing to be transparent, men willing to have the tough conversations, men willing to challenge each other and do all of those things. And so, yes, Lily, you can be in the room. Thank you for even joining into the room. But I was going back and I was talking about how the word bro has become so commonly used to where, it's easy to just say, hey, what's up, bro? Man, what's up, y'all? This is my brother right here. And so sometimes you have to wonder, like, wait a second, like your real brother or like just somebody that you're close with? How are you defining brother? And so that is a real question nowadays when you meet people and when you are introduced to people. Hey, y'all, this is my brother. Bam, 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 bam. Well, today I am really, really excited because I get to speak to somebody who is a brother of mine. I mean, me and this guy, we share the same jokes that nobody understands but us. We've shared rooms. I wore his hand-me-downs, so when he could no longer wear the clothes, it was passed down to me. And so I became the wearer of all of his duck heads and polos and all of those things. I am really, really excited about today's conversation because you get to join in regular conversations that I have with this guy daily, sometimes 3-4 times a day. What's up, Ree? My sister is in the building too. So I want to introduce to everybody, Fred, come back in, sign back out of IG, and then come back in so that I can see you and let you in. I want to introduced to this guy, man. When I say this guy is special, I can't even define special in a way that really, really is going to explain what this guy means to me, what he has meant to me for years, all my life, and what he continues to mean to me. So as soon as he shows his face, soon as he comes back in and asks and send the request, I'm gonna let him into the chat. But I want y'all to buckle your seatbelts because there's no telling where the conversation gonna go. I mean, one word can spark a detour and we'd be over there for the whole hour. World, I would love for you guys to meet my brother, Frederick Parker. What up, Doc?
What's up, man?
Man, listen, all is well, man. How you doing over there, man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. You know, I only do this for you. Like you put me out there so bad all the time, but because I love you so much and I know you love me so much, I'm on IG with this face looking like I've been in the wilderness.
But hold on, I thought we were figuring out how to shave and cut our own hair and all of that.
Well, I already know how to do that, and I've been doing that. However, hey man, you know, I'm under. As Grandma would say, I'm under.
Listen, y'all, when I tell y'all, I can't begin to even talk about brotherhood without starting with this guy right here. I will say everything that I know, everything that I am, everything that I have grown to be was because my brother Fred actually poured seeds into me. And you know, I'm always talking about this movement of men and this and how much brotherhood is important to me. Well, brotherhood was not even something that I understood until I began to just dive into what my brother means to me. And Fred, welcome to MANCODE 100. This is a space, man, where we chop it up. We get down into it. We, you know, no holds barred. But the goal is to show how men can converse, how men can be transparent, how men can challenge each other and push each other. That will in turn hopefully inspire some guys that may be watching it or whomever will ever see this to, you know, do a self-eval and really push and challenge themselves in upholding what MANCODE really, really is. So, man, talk about what is it like, Fred, being the older brother and having a younger brother? What's the mindset of not only being the oldest of the siblings, but having a younger brother that is basically idolizing you, looking up to you, and waiting for your approval?
Well, I always looked at it like this. I was John the Baptist. Because remember, like, when we first moved to Oak Drive, I used to go to the park and talk about you all the time, like, my brother this, my brother that, my brother this. Just like John the Baptist did Jesus. He was like, yo, I do great work, but dude that come behind me, he gonna do even greater.
So you set me up a lot of times, too.
Yeah, I did. But you know what? I put you in situations where you had to succeed. You had to excel. Like, I wouldn't let you play basketball with the kids your age. When we played 2-on-2 football, I made sure it was with older guys because you could become complacent with just dominating kids your age. You know, being an older brother is like, it's like you get to correct all the mistakes that you did, and you get to mold another person that's coming behind you because, you know, you were faster than me when I was, I was 9. I mean, you were 9, I was 14. You can outrun me. And he was always more athletic than me, but you know, I was probably the smarter of the family, so I would always just teach you, with your athleticism, you can do this. With this, you can take this part of your life and you can go there. So it was just a platform for me to reinvent myself through another person, taking all of me that's positive and pour it into you, and see what the finished product is going to be.
You know, with at Brothers United of Atlanta, I'm always talking about. I started Brothers United 5 years ago, and I'm gonna get to that because I want to share something with the world. What up, D Games?
Hey, what's up, D Gang?
Man, that's my dude, man. I love you, D.
Jay Cooks.
We always talk about the importance of showing up every day, presenting the best version of yourself. Was there pressure, Fred, knowing that every move you made or every move you continue to make, because no matter how old we are, you still my older brother, and I'm always looking for you for inspiration. I'm always still, even in my 40s, looking for you to approve certain things. Like, it matters not what the world says, but when my brother says, yo, you did that. Yo, you sound good today. Like, you did that. It means so much more. But from my lens, Fred, I've always been the person looking up to my brother. Was there pressure knowing that every move you made, every word you spoke, every step you took was going to be watched by your little brother?
It wasn't pressure because for me, I mean, you are who you are. And whatever standard you set for yourself, you're not only showing to your little brother, but you're showing to the rest of the world. So for me, because we were so close, I was just doing what made me have fun. And I knew that whatever I was doing, someone was looking, and I always lived by that code. Like, someone is always looking for you. I never thought of it the way that I lived, that my little brother was looking up to me, because I just felt like there were so many more kids in our family that needed an example, and I just took it upon myself, no pressure, to be an example.
Wow. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. What up, Selena? Love you, girl. I'm gonna fast forward, right? So I'm very open and I'm very transparent about my testimony and just my journey of how I even got here. But I recall many of conversations where you instilled confidence in me, where you gave, what up, Cuzzo? Carlin? Where you the moment you said you can do this, I believed I could do it. What's up, Mom? The moment you said it's gonna be all right, I believed that it was gonna be all right, simply because my brother said so. I go back about 6 years ago, man, when I always talk about my life's transition and when I had to have a full self-eval and really challenge myself to being the best person that I know that I was created to be. What's up, Didi? And my brother, you said to me, you were disappointed in my actions and you were disappointed and you challenged me to make it right. You have no idea, Fred, like, because you were disappointed. There were layers, right? Obviously, I had disappointed my family, disappointed myself within my marriage. My wife was disappointed. My parents were disappointed. Everybody. But it meant a little bit differently when my brother said, "Hey, I'm disappointed in you, and make it right." You challenged me and you charged me in a way that I now look at as that is being my brother's keeper. Because being my brother's keeper is wanting the very best from your blood brother or just from your brother, right? And it wasn't the pom-poms. It wasn't, yeah, you can do it. It wasn't the Fred that I was accustomed to hearing. What up, JC? It wasn't the Fred that I was accustomed to seeing, but it was the Fred who was willing to dig deep, have a tough conversation, and challenge me in a way that nobody during that time had challenged me before. Talk about, man, like the difficulties, or even if it is difficult, when you have to deal with me from a place of maybe not necessarily approval, disappointment. Like what is that? How is that for you?
Well, first of all, I never really looked at you as someone the world knows. I always look at you as, for people that don't know, I always look at you as Damon. That's what we called you when you were a kid. growing up. So again, just trying to be an example of a better life, and to know that there was a time in your life when you was off the path. I'm thinking like that's not how we were raised, and to be a brother's keeper, I posted this on my social media page a time ago. The true measure of a man is shown when he is made to feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're around people, if your circle of people can never tell you something that makes you feel uncomfortable, that shows you that you're not in the right place, then those are the people you should keep around you. Because during that whole situation, I was upset with the people that were around you more so than I was upset with you. But I was also upset with you for letting people be around you who would condone that behavior. So that was my biggest frustration. And being that I think that's probably the only time in our lives that I really just open up and let you have it. I don't ever really remember raising my voice at you ever growing up, but that was one situation where I was just so disappointed. I was really disappointed, and like I said, not only the decision that you made, but the fact that you allowed people in your circle to say it was cool for you to do, what you did to bring upon this frustration.
We talk about what I know. We talk about upholding the man code, and for those that have been that have been viewing this since we started, there are a few statements that I'm going to always make because I'm always wanting to hear the perspective of the different guys that'll come on. Elijah, what's up, Doc? When you hear upholding the man code and when you hear I am my brother's keeper, I remember growing up looking at the TV show New Jack City and the two characters, am I my brother's keeper? Yeah, I'm my brother's keeper. And for years, man, I thought that being my brother's keeper was, being my brother's keeper of secrets. And, we're going to take this to the grave. What's done over here stays over here and all of that. So that's how I kind of equated growing up, that was stand down, as we would say, stand down, right? But as I've gotten older, I now understand that being my brother's keeper means a whole different level of things. How do you define being that statement, I am my brother's keeper?
It's severalfold. One, holding your brother's feet to the fire when he is, sort of straying. But then again, being able to be supportive in whatever way. I was talking to my cousin, my cousin Shantae yesterday, and her mom, and I was talking about how guys can't hear from someone who hasn't been in their shoes. So when you're speaking to someone about a problem you may have, and if they don't seem receptive, it's probably because not what you're saying doesn't mean anything, but because they're looking at you like he hadn't been there. He doesn't know what it feels like to be in my situation. So to be a brother's keeper is, no matter how embarrassing you may feel, you always have to be a shoulder to lean on for another guy. You have to remove yourself and become a servant to your brother, so to speak. Because this guy, or your brother, whether it be your blood brother or, your homie, he needs you. And however he needs you, you have to be there for him, removing yourself and being his keeper. The keeper of secrets, that is one, because, that's more man law than man code. But, just being able to, again, remove yourself when your brother's in need.
Love it, love it. I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit, man. I remember growing up, right? My brother, y'all, was always in charge of the activities. So when we were growing up, man, we used to play this. I don't even know if it was a game, but it was just something to do. My brother has always been into fashion. He's still into fashion with Ralph Lauren. But growing up, we would do this thing called paper dolls, where he would cut out the guys for he and I. He'd draw like the girl and then cut that out. And then he would design all the clothes. And if y'all don't know what like paper dolls are, you'd actually cut out a image of a man or a woman, but then on top of that you would create clothes, and then on the clothes you put a little flap on the end so that they could fold behind. It was so ingenious. But Fred was the like the orchestrator of it all. I remember seeing my brother sit on the top of the stairs, and he's like the first encounter of what I perceived as a genius, where he'd sit at the top of the stairs, and with two 9-volt batteries, he would play basketball. And when I tell you guys, he had a whole notebook of stats, a whole season with assists, dunks, alley-oops, turnovers, wins and losses from just two 9-volt batteries. And we laughed about it. But as I got older, I started to understand that mentally he was taking his mind somewhere that was not going to limit him based off of his surroundings. And so when I look at all of the things that he's achieved in his life, it was really expected, because I said to myself, if this guy could not only do what he did with those batteries, have such a creative fashion mind to create the clothes, right? I watched this guy play, what do you call those? The chimes? The choir chimes, where it would be like 8 people. Like, I watched my brother do it all by himself, like reaching all the way over here to get one to hit bing, and then go down ding. Like, I watched him do all of these things, right? And so whether he knew it or not, he was inspiring me even way back in those days. And so when we speak about always being present, always present the best version of yourself, because you just know who is watching. And so I want to just say to you, man, in front of everybody, and we've said this before, man, but I appreciate you for inspiring me even when you didn't even know you was inspiring me, bro.
Well, like, when I talk about our upbringing, right, we didn't think we were missing anything. And, when our mother or our parents said we couldn't go outside, I look at kids now and they just poke their lip out like, oh, I gotta stay in the house. We were like, so? And, just the Bible says peace that surpasses all understanding. Like, no one else that I know would do that with the batteries. I just was so creative as a kid, and I wanted just have fun all the time. So nothing could stop me from having fun. Like, people nowadays say, why are you always laughing? I'm thinking of something, or I'm finding something funny. Everything is going on. Because, laughter is a perfect medicine for all, man. If you can't have fun, if you can't find fun, then you're in the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
Either physically or mentally in the wrong place. And, like I said, I never did that stuff, for you to look up to or to be an example. Really, I say about the steering wheel.
Right.
That big steering wheel sitting at the bottom. I just, because I just wanted to have fun. And like you said, being the older brother, I was sort of the shepherd of fun for us. And, I had to make sure that, we always had fun. We went down to grandma's house. There was 2 other kids in the whole neighborhood. Monique and Tony.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what are we going to do to have fun this whole summer in Birmingham? So I just had to come up with, creative ways for us to just have fun. And it shows now as adults. When we get together, especially with my Uncle Rod. What's up, Uncle Rod?
What's up, Unc?
We get around him, and it just loads and loads of fun because, that's just who we are.
Yeah. When I think about like the way we were brought up, and the laughter you spoke about, the camaraderie, I remember just always wanting to hang around my brother. That's all I wanted to do, to do was just hang around my big brother to the point where.
Yeah, right there. I'm gonna jump in right there.
Okay.
When I was a kid, kids my age were doing stuff that, one, I knew was wrong. Two, I knew the church said was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And three, was too risky. So I hung around guys your age because all y'all want to do is play football, play baseball, and race. You know, I was the slowest dude in the neighborhood. But it was just so much more fun being a kid trying to grow so fast.
Yeah. So when I think about brotherhood, a part of brotherhood is camaraderie and being able to have those moments where it is, I'm not judging you, you're not judging me, but man, I think that's where the term let's just go grab a beer come from, because that's the time to release, relax, not measured by you, you're not trying to size me up, but we just gonna go and chill over a drink. Well, I love the fact that I grew up in a household where I had a big brother, because even before I played any sports, before I was in any choir, you know, some people, these were their first opportunities to be exposed to teamwork, and even a word that is so simple but so big, sharing, right? We learned at an early age how to share, not because it was four of us, but even from male to male, I learned how you were just so freely to give to me, right? And even when you didn't want to, mom made you give to me. Mom and pop made you share. And so from that, then I go outside the house, and then I'm now playing all of these sports. I'm now in the chorus where I have to learn to share. I can't be the loudest voice in the choir. I got to share the volume. When I'm on the basketball or football, it's not an individual sport. So I have to learn to share. But I know that because of the way we were raised and just how the way you dealt with me, man, because you could have been that older brother who was just like, nah, this is mine. No, get your own stuff. Because we see that now. We see the sibling rivalries. We never had sibling rivalry. Never, man. And I want to just say thank you, because that also prepared me for when I joined 112, because I already knew how to share. I already knew how to play my position. Because I played sports, I already knew all of these things. But the first instance of that was having a brother, man, who was willing to not only share in his things, but man, you would pull me to the side. Hey, yo, don't do this. Hey, this is how you become better. Dribble with your left hand all the way down the court. Okay, only shoot with your left hand. Okay, keep your eyes on the ball. Like all of, man, you were wisdom sharing even at a younger age.
I look at it like this, man. It goes back to when we were kids playing football. I always wanted to play quarterback because I took more pride. I had more enjoyment out of somebody scoring. So if I threw our favorite, what's our favorite pattern?
Down, out, and up.
I was happy. When I played basketball in the Marine Corps, like I was the tallest dude on the team, but I played point guard. And people were like, wow, why you play point guard? Because I wanted to see everybody else shine. And I don't know, man. It's just, having a younger brother and two younger sisters, like I said, being, the reason why we or responsible with making sure we always have fun. I just wanted y'all to have fun. I mean, I just wanted y'all to be better, my sister Riri, I love Riri, man, I love Riri. Riri is if I got 10, she got 5. When I started getting into fashion more and, making a little money, I would always try to buy Mom some shoes that she wouldn't buy for herself. Buy Riri something she wouldn't buy for herself. Buy Didi something she wouldn't buy for herself. And man, I believe you still got a few of my neckties in your closet.
You know I do.
But I mean, you can't be selfish because an old school player once told me, he said, man, every time I give you something, I leave a co-hanger in the closet. Making room for my next blessing. So that's how I always look at things. Just if I give you something, I'm just gonna leave a hanger in the closet that's making room for my next blessing.
Yeah, yeah. I spoke about Brothers United of Atlanta a few minutes ago, and one of our mottos is none of us is as smart as all of us. And that is just really the ultimate saying of teamwork. And let me pause. We have an uncle that's in the room, y'all, that is just he's this is what we do, y'all. So, I wanted today's conversation to be sharing, but also just kind of catching up, because I wanted the world to see, how I am with my brother, with my siblings. And if my sisters were on here, they are just as bad. And mom, my dad is just kind of like, he laid back, so he just kind of laugh, and he becomes the butt of all the jokes. But I mean, we just have a very, very loving family. But there's so many things that I can parallel with, the way we were raised and the way you kind of dealt with me, the way you led me, because whether you know it or not, you were leading silently or even out loud. It's certain things that I was exposed to with you are some of the staples and how we run, and I run Brothers United of Atlanta. And, the why for the Bridge Project, which is putting all of these men together, gospel and R&B, which is why MANCODE. And so without the way that we are, without Pop really instilling in us core values and him being the ultimate example of father, leader, lover, like all of these things, those things set the foundation that I soon had to grow into. I didn't get it just off the bat, but I believe once I connected and identified with who I was called to do and the purpose that I was supposed and the mission that I'm supposed to lead, all of these instances started to come back into my mind of how my brother led, how my brother opened up, how my brother shared, how my brother loved, but how my brother got on me when he needed to. All of those things are what MANCODE really, really is. And you said it earlier. You said blindly saying yes before you even know what it is. So if I called you right now and say, yo, Fred, I need a favor. I need X, Y, and Z. You just going to show up. We'll figure out what we're going to do when we get there. But that's, to me, like, that's another example of brotherhood.
I'm going to say two things. One, Pop was the solid example.
Yes, sir.
He was a solid example. And, a lot of guys that don't have that father in the home, your brother now has to be that example.
Mm-hmm.
Loud or silent. The other point you made when you sang about, what you say again? I'm sorry. That was on my mind.
See, another example. But I mean, no, I was just saying that. Oh, go ahead.
Not really trying. Like I said, I never tried to be an example. I just, like I said, live my life. You had a saying, do it like you're doing it when you're doing it for TV.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I felt like everyone who was looking up to me was TV. And I just couldn't be a bad example because of how many people gravitated toward me for whatever reason. My sense of humor, the games we played, the clothes I put on, the clothes I gave them, whatever. I just think, being your brother's keeper means being an example to your brother.
Yeah.
And also the flip side of that, you have to be a brother that's willing to accept that. Because it has to be two. If I'm giving you examples on how to do things and you're not following, then if you go astray, me as a person, now a lot of guys do this, but I don't say, you know what, I'm not gonna fool with that dude anymore because he's gone astray. I'm gonna say, hey, whether you like it or not, you know you're wrong. I still got your back, but you're wrong. I'm not gonna support you when you're wrong. I'm gonna let you know when you're wrong. When you're right, I'm with you, but when you're wrong, I gotta let you know, hey, I'm your brother. Nobody's telling you this. That's why you continue to think you can get away with it. Well, you might still can get away with it, but no, when you're around Frederick, it's not cool.
Yeah.
Like dad never drank. I never saw my dad drink. I I never heard my dad curse. I never saw my dad use a firearm. And he was in the Army. And I was in the Marines. And it
Oh yeah.
wasn't until recently that I got a firearm. But he just popped, like I said, just being a solid example. He was firm. He was strict. But in that era, we needed it. We needed a firm, strict father. And for those that don't know, Dad is 5'2".
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I've been talking to my dad since I was 9 years old. But the respect that he had, because it wasn't respect that I'm scared of my dad. And I don't think it was a respect thing for you being I'm scared of my brother. Dad just showed me a great example, and I try to show that example to you.
Yeah. It is so amazing when we have our Brothers United meetings, which are once a month. Pop, the first one in there, and he has become Pop of the whole organization. All the bros, they look forward to seeing Pop. Uh, he is still today leading. He's still, loving gently. He's still, man, just effortlessly being everything that will continue to set an example for me. You spoke about being in the Marines. Now, prior to going in the Marines, I'm saying to myself, my brother is everything to me. Like, my brother he's the blueprint. I will say that I can say that to you in my life. You were the blueprint. So if I thought you had those characteristics already, what was it like for you going into the Marines? And now when you say I am my brother's keeper, when you say I gotta always have my guys back, like, how much of that was just already there to when you actually became a Marine?
Man, the Marine Corps just enhanced it. It was like I was regular fry. I said Marine Corps, they supersized it. Because, like the Marine Corps teaches you to be a killer. And as harsh as that may sound, you have to remember, if you're in war, you have to be focused. You have to have tunnel vision, and the Marine Corps is black and white. There's no gray area. There's no what if. There's no if this happens. No, you just go and do it. So I was really, really well disciplined growing up. Of the four of us, I wasn't the bad one. I wasn't the bad one of the four of us. So going to the Marine Corps, it was pretty much they were fine tuning me into, being a Marine. That's what they tell you when you first get there. You've now taken the first steps of becoming a member of the world's most elite fighting force. So the discipline to get up at 4 a.m., the discipline to lock your rifle every night, the discipline to have a proper shave, the discipline of getting your uniform right. I wanted to be clean anyway, so my uniform's gonna be spiffy all the time. But the Marine Corps just added to the discipline that I already had, because it taught me when to be silly and when not to be silly. Like, every situation doesn't call for humor. And deep down inside, I was laughing so hard at boot camp. I knew I'd get in trouble. They called me laughing because that was not it was a serious situation. So like even now, there are situations that come up and I want to laugh. But when I'm talking to you, when you're talking to me about something that's serious, or when someone else is speaking to me, I have to know how to turn that off and be an example, or be a brother when need be. Man, but somebody mute Uncle Roy, because we always try to be serious.
Right. I
Like I said,
Go ahead.
I remember you saying something that was so funny to me when I was in the Marine Corps. You said, and this right here is an example of us just growing up in our box and the love we have for each other. You said, so you don't get to come home in the summertime like college? I said, no, man, this is my job now. And coming home for me was just like, it was the greatest thing to see your progression, to see where my sisters were. And it was, it was sort of like roles reversed. Because when I went to the Marine Corps, you cried. When you left in one of your first tour, I missing each other so much, man. And I mean, brothers cry for each other.
Yeah.
You know, whether you blood brothers or otherwise. You know, you have that bond, and you're just so close to each other, man. You know, you can miss your brother without being a punk.
I remember growing up, I always got the hand-me-downs. And as if y'all don't know, my brother is 6'5". My brother is 6'5", and I am 6'1". Eh. So when my brother would outgrow things, they'd be passed down to me. And so, Fred, do you remember having those starch jeans, right? And you know when you starch Levi's and you have to hem them, they get that line in them, right? But as you grew, you had to let the hem out, and then another line would come, and then if you grew more, another line. So by the time I got them, they had 3 white lines on 'em.
But you know what's crazy, Quint? I'm gonna tell you, man. And like people used to always get on me in the Marine Corps, like, man, why you sending all that money home? Why you always sending money home? And I was like, yo, my brother needs some Jordans.
Yeah.
My brother, like I was so proud of everything you did in high school. You know, all the sports you played, the grades you made. You didn't have time for a job. So you know, I would enjoy sending you money home so you can have things, so you wouldn't have to wear the jeans that I passed down to you. You can go and get your own things. You know what I mean? That was a joy for me, man. Like when you call and say, "Hey Fred, I got to do this red carpet. Hook me up some." My heart just gets so full. You know what I mean? Because
Wow.
I like doing that stuff. Uncle Rob when we tell the story about $13.
Go ahead. Tell the story.
If y'all don't know, my Uncle Rod, he's a reverend now. And he's the funniest person in the family about that.
Funniest.
So we used to live with us when I was in high school. I used to work at Kroger. So I really didn't know it, but I knew something wasn't right. Uncle Rod was on drugs really bad. So one day he came home and said, "Hey, Wop, you got any money?" I said, "Yeah, I just got some tips." I said, "Yeah, I got about $13." He said, "Let me have it. I'll give it back to you when I get paid." I was like, "All right, cool." Now this was like 1989, 89. I gave it to him. The next time I saw Uncle Rod was 1993. He left. I don't know where he went, but he just, every time I saw him, he was like, "Yeah, man, I was in rehab." I was like, "Can I get my $13 back?" But he was an integral part of my life too. He taught me how to dribble with my left hand. He taught me how to play cards.
Wow.
Um, so you know, another example of a brother's keeper. You know, my uncle, although he was a junkie and he used to eat a whole pack of hot dogs in one setting, and he used to grab a whole roll of butter cookies in one hand, I still felt like there was some good in my uncle that I can take from and add to my life. June Ambrose, oh my
What
God,
up, June?
man, dude. I got to work with June Ambrose one time, and I was a groupie the whole time. But that's another story.
What up, June?
But yeah, just having, you know, what people misunderstand, Quinn, about my brother's keeper or MANCODE is if you follow someone who's leading you down the wrong path, they'll say, "Well, I did it because you did it." Well, what part of you says that's wrong? Because you can't always lean on someone else to take responsibility for your actions. Maybe your reactions, but not really your actions.
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes back to when you know when you went through your ordeal, how upset I was, how I didn't say, "Oh well, you know that's you cute, that's what you do." No, you know people would always say, well that's just how he is, and my reply would always be, "But that don't make it right."
Mm-hmm.
So again, it goes back to me just trying to be an example for you, so you didn't have to decide what was wrong. If you want to do something wrong in your life, it wasn't because I showed you.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's what I love about, all of the men that are in our lives. All right, John, man. Love you, man. JC. what I love about, we got a few more minutes, but what I love about all of the men in our family, I can go up the ladder and see how one influenced the next, influenced the next, influenced the next. So when we see Q Junior and Jeffrey, these are the next generation of men in our family. They are watching us. I'll never forget. We continuing to talk about being my brother's keeper and having the tough conversations. One of the toughest conversations that I had to have was with Pops, and him telling me and helping me understand that it's okay to say no. Not everybody deserves a yes, and it's okay to say no. And when he said that, I couldn't really understand it. But if you know my father, you know that Pop, he's very soft spoken. He don't really say a whole lot, but when he says something and he's serious, then it's worth you really taking heed. And when he said that to me, like, I immediately got it. I never forget having the toughest conversation with my son and having to tell him, hey, Dad, haven't been doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I haven't been, living my best life. I have not owned up to who I was called to be. And I had to really sit there and have a very, very tough conversation with him and talk about my transgressions, talk about where I had fallen short. But I also committed to him, and I vowed that same day, hey, that I'm going to do better. I'm going to present the best version of myself going forward. I'm going to make things right. I'm going to rehab Mom and I's relationship. I'm going to make sure that you and Khadijah and we all back to the family component that we have grown accustomed to. And so in that moment, and I'm pretty sure he'd say this to you, in that moment, he saw his dad be vulnerable, but he also saw his dad step up to the plate and commit to making things right, which for me is what this whole life of men is all about. I say it all the time. When my day is called, I need to leave here empty, because every young man that I come in contact with, I'm going to give them darn near everything I got. Every mentor that I have, man, they going to know everything. I'm never going to let any new artist that I know of that's close to me sign a bad contract the first deal. I'm never going to have an artist not understand royalties and publishing. I'm never going to have a young man that's considering marriage not fully understand the covenant that he's about to embark upon, and what commitment and being faithful and what being present. Like, I'm not going to let that happen, because I take ownership over it. Like, not on my watch. Nobody will say that I came in contact with Q Parker and I didn't get the information that I have. Right? And so when I think about all the men in our family, we have been doing that throughout the generations, just wisdom sharing. And that's part of the responsibility. That's not an option for men. That is what is required. So when we talk about MANCODE, being responsible is one of the top lines for me in redefining these MANCODEs.
Responsibility is huge to me, because, like you said, there's a lineage of good guys in our family. And you can sort of tell, like I knew when people were doing something wrong. Matter of fact, I'll tell you, when I was in the Marine Corps, Marines fight. And we go to the club, we get drunk. I didn't drink in the Marine Corps. I didn't start drinking until I got in the Marine Corps. But Marine Corps go to the club, we drink, we fight. But the guys would always say, hey, Fred P, you stay with the girls right quick, we'll be right back. And I'm like, where y'all going? Oh, don't worry about it. We'll be right back. Stay right here real quick. They would never let me go and fight with them, because I didn't present myself as someone who was down with that. I mean, obviously, if I was with you and it happened, then I had to, lay hands on you. Sunday they be cool, Sunday they out.
Mama.
They would never let me do that. When we were together and some guys were drinking, and I said, man, let me try that. They was like, nope, not you. I remember when I came home from the Marine Corps, I was like, I'm out, I'm loose. You know what, man? Let me try to smoke some weed, see what that's like. God, I was like, Fred, that ain't you. So not only people on your
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like I said, the lineage of guys in our family just did that for me. Because I know there's some things that guys in our family don't know I know about them, but they didn't show me. They don't let me know that because they know who I am. And there's some things that people didn't show you because they know who you are and the type of guy you are and the cloth you cut from.
Wow. Well, man, boy, I need to come up with another. Scott, can you get out of our page, man? Screaming War Eagle, please. We're not doing that.
I don't even hear.
Right, man. I can't even put into words, Fred. I wish there was even a deeper way to just say I love you than just saying I love you and how much you mean to me and how much you have impacted and continue to impact my life, man. You have been, man, when I say the model example for the way that I even walk today. There's not a moment, man, that I do things and I tap into how would Fred do this? How would Fred respond? What would Fred wear? How would Fred do this? I mean, down to Fred, man, you have no idea, bro, the level of impact and how you have influenced me, man, like tremendously. And I say to you privately, I would say to you publicly, man, that I love you. Thank you for being your brother's keeper. Thank you for allowing your iron to sharpen your little brother. Because all that I am, man, a lot of who I am is because of you. So, man, thank you. I love you, man.
Thank you for being able to be molded. I was listening to Bible study this morning, and Dr. Dollar said you have to be meek. You have to be able to be taught. You have to be able to change when you're wrong. When someone is giving you advice, you have to be able to. You have to be meek, and that builds character. That's a stone. Now, what you can do to show me you really really love me, you can give me 8 bars of your new album.
Done. That's done. That's it, man. That's one of them. That's a layup. Bleh. Man, that's a layup, man. But man, I love you, Fred. As any of the guys that are watching this, motto here, MANCODE 100 is have the tough conversations, guys. Don't be afraid to be stretched. Don't be afraid to emulate. If it's positive, it's okay to use somebody as a standard so that you can achieve that and then some more, because you never know. All you may need sometimes is just that jump start. All you may need is that one little push, and sometimes that push can come from you just admiring your brother doing something that is of interest to you. And so don't be afraid of that, guys. Uphold the man code, and I'm telling y'all, no matter what the circumstance or the situation is, you got it. You are equipped to be a winner. No L's, no losses for me. We're going to keep winning like we got 6 rings. All right.
All the tools, man. You have all the tools. As a man, you have all the tools. As a black man, you have even more tools because you have a little more grit that you're built with because you're dealt a losing hand from the start. So to overcome all these instances or these situations that come in your life, you're supposed to. You're made to. So, like my brother said, no failures, no losses. You can't lose. Like I never see myself losing. I never see myself losing. I don't care what we're doing. We're playing spades, Monopoly. I'm 40. I'm about to be 49 years old. And if you try to guard me on the block, I'm gonna give you some. Because I just can't. It's not it's not who I am. If you beat me, I'm gonna say good job. But in my head, I gotta get this dude next time. I have a friend. We have a friend named Kevin. Kevin is the hardest person ever to guard me. But when I play basketball by myself in the gym working on stuff, Kevin is guarding me. So I challenge you guys, find something that challenges you in your moment alone, and you try to overcome that hurdle when you're in your alone space. So when it does come, it's like breeze, it's like second nature.
I love it. We're gonna close on that, man. This is MANCODE 100. My guests have been my blood, my real life brother, Frederick Parker, man. I love you, man. Can't wait to see you next time.
I can't wait to see you too, brother.
All right, boy. Peace.
All right, peace.
your success, it ain't far away. No matter how hard it gets, yeah, don't let time pass by. You know somebody's watching you, they learning something new. The weight has got you sinking, the pressure got you thinking. You're feeling like you're stuck, but you gotta move on and know. Yeah. When you're feeling down and you wanna give up, just know. Make today better than yesterday. Be strong and keep holding on, because